Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Channel Shift. I'm Michele Rahal. The destruction of Jeremy Mayfield is complete. It's inevitable that no matter what the outcome of the trial of Mayfield versus NASCAR, this driver's career is over. But the truth, which in court is a complete abstract, is that it's really NASCAR on trial. Can they convince a jury of 12 people that Jeremy Mayfield is a drug abuser and that their system of drug testing isn't flawed? Well, let's think about that for a moment. There's this little thing in American law that we call reasonable doubt. Now, that concept has worked just as it should have in many cases, but on the other hand, it's set free hundreds of thousands of guilty people, but by and large, it is still the best system of justice the world has to offer. But you see it happen when you get to court all the time. It's all about how much money can you spend, how many lawyers can you bring to the party, what information are they going to allow the jury to hear, and just how good is that salesman, we tend to call them lawyers. Can he convince 12 people to vote his way? Well, in the curious case of Jeremy Mayfield, a little poetic license of a movie title, a lot is at stake. Mayfield's already trashed, whether he's guilty or not. It's NASCAR who's got the most to lose here. A lot of people out there don't like what NASCAR looks like right now. They perceive the sanctioning body as having abandoned the little guy, a bully, a giant, but still a private corporation that settles cases as a matter of course. You know, the cost of doing business. But this time they've staked a lot on what happens with Mayfield. NASCAR says he's a drug abuser based on a drug test that came up positive. What they don't say is that initial drug tests come up positive in a large number of cases, and that's why they tend to have two samples. The problem is that when that first test is positive, they got to back it up with two additional tests. Now, under the federal guidelines, those confirmations should be two separate labs that are independent. NASCAR doesn't do that. They use the same lab. As big a player as NASCAR is, they use one lab. Their response to this? We're a private company. We don't have to adhere to the federal guidelines. How convenient. They come across to many people as arrogant, playing judge and jury under the guise of safety. Mayfield claims he's never ingested methamphetamines. All right, he does say that he takes Adderall for ADHD and another drug for allergies, as do a number of very nervous drivers right now. He further states that NASCAR provides the drivers with no list of banned substances, no truly independent testing of the results for tests, and that he had no access to the sample he was entitled to have tested himself. What was the judge's response? There's a high likelihood the test was flawed, and the judge has granted a temporary injunction allowing Mayfield to race. But NASCAR's Brian France says he has irrefutable evidence to prove Mayfield's guilt. Irrefutable. I wonder which part of the term reasonable doubt France has missed. He better hope it's irrefutable, or he can outlawyer Mayfield. Because if NASCAR loses, and they can, O.J. Simpson's so-called dream team of lawyers is going to look like Spanky in our gang compared to the battery of counselors who are going to line up to sue NASCAR on Mayfield's behalf. Nobody's going to win here, ladies and gentlemen, but you can bet your life somebody's going to lose, and they're going to lose big. I'm Michele Rahal with Channel Shift.